Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where you are invited for lighthearted conversations about things that matter as you seek to live your most meaningful, beautiful, and joyful life. I'm your host, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at the House of Joy. 1 in 3 women struggle with this sort of anxiousness or, this feeling of overwhelm. Anxiety is energy that needs to go somewhere, usually. Moving your body can be such a powerful way to do that. We are a society of overthinkers. Like, we love to just think something to death.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to be so in your head when physically, like, even soreness can bring you back into your physical body.
My brain does this to me. Every time my body sits still, my brain goes crazy. I love to kind of challenge that and go, no, I have so much more capacity than I'm even using now.
Yes.
The environment that you put yourself in, whether you're putting yourself in that physical environment of, maybe you need a change of physical scenery for a while.
I know that if certain things aren't done, it's going to be there in my brain through everything else I do.
So you might as well do it.
So I might as well do that.
I actually try to never talk like that.
Yep.
Even if I feel that internally, a true antidote to anxiety is action. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to House of Joy.
House of Joy.
House of Joy, back in the house. By the way, before we even dive in, Emily May, would you like to tell our friends what you're working on for House of Joy? I.e. brand new hats.
Yes, we're working on hats. I actually haven't mentioned it because I feel scared.
Yeah. I mean, goes
like,
along with our
I don't want to make
today.
an empty promise. And
it looks like you're coming along well.
We're making all of the plans for hats, and they are coming along. Now, if
they look so cute.
They will get in here in time, and if they will be, I've said this before, but the first time we did hats, it was just kind of like, don't care. Put this on there, get it ordered.
First hats were iconic, by the way.
I had no anxiety about the hats. And this time, I have anxiety about it. But
which brings me to our episode today, all about when you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed. And we're going to give some specific examples from our life. But, We've done a whole episode before on anxiety. It's one of our most downloaded episodes. So if you haven't listened to that one, go listen to that one.
We'll link
because what we're going to talk about here are really 4 tools that you can use when you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed.
And I thought this would be a good one because I've had several moments where, like, when you're in the pit of a anxious moment or you're having anxiety, sometimes I wish I had something practical that I could just do right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a great episode in those moments. So maybe you could download it, save it, send it to someone who struggles with anxiety or just anxious thoughts. And I feel like our goal for this episode is just to really give you hope and practical things to hold on to when you feel anxious. And hopefully by the end, you will feel better.
And May is a great time for this episode because now they call May, don't they call it May-cember or something like that? Because it's like the new December. It's the new busiest month of the year.
It is so busy.
It's crazy.
But I feel like just now all of life is busy.
All of life is that way.
There's never a moment where it's not busy.
Yeah. And it's so common. We read that 1 in 3 women struggle with this sort of anxiousness or this feeling of overwhelm, and how much that climbs when you're in some kind of transition, like a career change, or for midlife women, time of life. I mean, I will even say Tom getting out of school and all of our schedule changing. Obviously, you're planning a wedding. We're planning a wedding, and we're planning a bachelorette party.
Yes, there is no end to things that could potentially
cause
overwhelm. Overwhelm or anxiety.
Yes. And so I do think that this is a great topic. I think it's a great time of year to kind of address it. And we've got 4, this is going to be really practical today. We have 4 practical tools, things that you can use when you're feeling this way. So, if you do feel like you're in a spiral, if you feel like your to-do list is like a giant mountain that you're never going to be able to summit, or whatever else for you might be causing this, we have some fun tools to chat about today.
Yeah, and you're not alone. I feel like everyone has these moments, no matter how healthy of a person you are, no matter how much you think that you're always good. I feel like everyone has their moments, and
Yes.
sometimes all you need is some reminders. And if you don't have a person, I just think this episode could be so good if people feel like they don't have a person in their life that can be like,
Right now I need to
yes. So
chat. And the other thing too about, again, we have a full episode on it, which was really good and I think helped a lot of people. But if you look at anxiety as just like energy in your body, it's like an elevated form of energy in your body and kind of like a sign that, you're trying to get your own attention instead of, I think a lot of times we look at it as a weakness or a character flaw or, something that we're just plagued with, instead of going, oh, I have this extra energy in my body. And I think that's a way more neutral way to look at it.
It's like such a hot word that it's when things are so popular to say, they kind of lose their meaning. Yeah. But like, it doesn't have to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm spiraling, losing control. Like, you can just have, thoughts and energy that needs somewhere to go. And that can be all that it is.
For sure. Yeah. And so I think, even before we get into the tools that we wanted to share today, just looking at it from a more neutral place and not making it like something's wrong with you or the end of the world or judging yourself for it, but just like, this is part of life. We all have times when we feel this way. Stevie's getting ready to travel, and I actually feel a little anxious about him. I always feel that way when he leaves. It was funny because we were in the car this morning, and my little Tommy boy was like, well, I guess I'm going to be stuck here with you.
You're like, yeah, and I'm stuck here with you.
But, for us, we've had a really full year already with travel and family stuff and the wedding travel and the stuff we've been doing for the wedding.
I know, and we haven't even scratched the
surface. Your bachelorette party is in June. We're traveling in July. Haddon's coming home. Love is Magic.
Young
there's
Living
a lot
Convention.
Going on. Yes.
Yeah, you look at it and let me tell you,
it's
from experience, it feels a little overwhelming.
Yeah, it does. But we're going to talk about ways that we can help ourselves when we feel that way. So first tool that I want to share that is probably, I would say, the one I use the most or second most, but I do this a lot, is literally move your body.
Yes. And I think this is a great first step.
Anxiety is energy that needs to go somewhere usually. And moving your body can be such a powerful way to do that.
And something I've noticed about anxiety, and I kind of think of anxiety also as like overthinking and just getting super in your head,
not in your body.
Not in your body.
Yes.
And that can really happen when you've been sedentary for a long time or not had something to focus on other than your thoughts. Yeah. And so like getting up and physically moving your body and physically giving your brain something to look at, to do, something else to think about, it legit helps so much.
Yeah, it actually moves the emotion. They're like waves that kind of are coming through your body, and movement helps you to move that emotion.
I was even telling Mom, because like you might not be in a place where like if you're at work or something and you're feeling anxious, like you might not be able to go walk away or whatever. Even just like getting up out of your chair and like doing air squats or something, anything that can get that energy to move.
Yeah. It's kind of like that movement helps you metabolize that stress, that your body is experiencing. And I love exactly what you said. We are a society of overthinkers. Like we love to just think something to death instead of staying connected to our bodies, getting into our bodies, moving our bodies intentionally. I love the idea of like air squats.
Yeah, like getting into reality. Like your head is not reality. And when you're in your head so hard, you start to literally be so disconnected from where your body is, where you are, what you're doing, that it does feel like that anxiety is so real. Yeah. And the reality is what's right in front of you.
Yes.
And sometimes just coming back into the world and not being so up here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easier said than done, but that's why I think give yourself a list of things that will make you feel the earth, make you feel the world around you, because once you get snapped back into where you are, that's why I think air squats are just something that like gets you a little out of breath, or something that like puts that there's nowhere to be but here if you're, you know.
And we, you know, starting my day for the last 7 or 8 years doing a hard workout on most days, for me has almost taken like literally most of my anxiety away. I don't really experience it nearly as much as I used to. And I think it's because I kind of exhaust the body, and
you don't have a lot of, it's a lot harder to be so in your head when physically, like even soreness can bring you back into your physical body.
And if you think about, like, of course, I'm always thinking in baby language, but if you think of babies when they get dysregulated, or, you know, they're experiencing whatever kind of stress, you're moving. Like, oh, you pick them up, you bounce them around, you rock them, you know, like think of how therapeutic that kind of like movement is to soothe the baby, to soothe, you know, your nervous system. And so that's the first thing that I would do. And it's almost always possible in some kind of way, right? Like,
unless you're trying, and that's where I think having to get out of your head, make it as simple as it can be. Like doing any kind of movement, anything, you really can't make an excuse to not be able to do that unless you're so in your head. Then you will create excuses. And you have to be able to get out of that.
Yes.
But yeah, that's really true. I've never thought about it like that, where to soothe anyone.
You're like moving, like, bouncing, rocking, walking. You know, I find that with, we've got our newest little grandbaby, Junie, and, oh my gosh, you guys, she's the squishiest little pumpkin.
So squish.
And, the times where I've been able to be with her, of course, I just want to hold her the whole time. But I notice how often, like if a baby gets stressed or anything's going on, you'll change your position. You'll stand up. If you're standing up, you'll move around. You'll walk. You'll bounce. You'll, do whatever. So, we should take note.
We should take note. Like, you can't just sit and feel
and
like
stay in your head.
Yes, and stay in your head. You're going to feel worse.
Okay, tool number 2 is to do a brain dump. Is to, do some journaling, grab a notebook, your notes app, and just get it all out. I do this so often when I'm not really so much when I'm feeling anxious, but when I'm feeling overwhelmed. If I can just write down everything that my brain's like, don't forget this, and don't, do this, and don't forget this. And I'll do it. If I'm driving, I will take voice notes to myself so that I can just do that. I keep a pen and paper by my bed, so that a lot of times, here's what happens. I lay down at night.
Brain starts going.
A million ideas, a million thoughts. You should do this. You should do this. And so I'll just sit back up. I'll get my little notepad out. Or again, you could take it, take the notes on your notes app or something like that. But my brain does this to me. Every time my body sits still, my brain goes crazy. And doing a good brain dump, or all the things that, you don't want to forget, all that kind of thing, can be really helpful.
Yeah, I love that. My coach Carrie has taught me to do this when I'm feeling anxious, either about, or not even anxious. I feel like that's such an easy word to say that covers like an array of feelings, but even if it's like about a specific person or something that actually just happened, like literally writing every thought that you're thinking about that. And it's really helpful, because once you see what you've written, in terms, maybe not overwhelm of what you have to do, but at least for me, when
see your thoughts,
seeing my thoughts, a lot of the time I'm like, okay, well, that's not really true. That's not really. But it's helpful to get it out. But once you see it, it kind of makes you feel better, because you realize that your brain is being silly. Once you see your thoughts on paper, you're like, okay, that's kind of silly. I mean, I get why I think that, but that's not always 100% true. And it helps you become aware of like,
and one of the things that I do, like if my brain is trying to tell me like, oh, Have you ever had this where your brain's like, it's just too much. It's all too much.
Shut off.
Yeah. And your brain kind of wants to shut off, or you're like, and I love to kind of challenge that and go and kind of answer back and go, no, I have so much more capacity than I'm even using now.
Yes.
Like, of course I'm going to get through this. Of course, this is going to be like, sometimes if I'm hosting an event or even having a bunch of people over or, doing something at home, my brain will like to say, oh, it's just too much. And I'm like, no, it's not. I love doing this. I want to do this. I have the capacity for this. It's like I talk back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
writing that down could be a powerful way for you to kind of talk back to your brain when it wants to go into overwhelm. The thing that I like to remember is that the anxiousness and the overwhelm is serving some purpose. The brain loves to do that because then it can sort of stop you in your tracks. It can conserve energy. Your brain is always trying to conserve energy. And if it can get you into overwhelm where you just stop doing anything, it's happy.
Yep.
Your primitive brain. And so I just like to answer back and say, no, I've been building so much capacity. I love doing this. I love hosting events. I love all the details, that I'm working on,
Yep.
And so bringing yourself back to kind of like your true self, what you really want, what you really desire, instead of letting your brain kind of have its way with you.
Yeah, I think that's so good. And I think it just is so in line with what you teach anyway.
Yeah.
Which is like create the
experience
that
you want. Yeah. Okay. So those are so helpful. Tool number 3. I love this one. Kind of is a little bit like number 1, but what I love about this is sort of like change your input. So sometimes we get into overwhelm because we're listening to too much news, or because we're scrolling on Facebook and watching people argue, or because, the input that we're giving ourselves, maybe we're scrolling too much on our phone, and you know what that can do to your brain? It can just create so much confusion and overwhelm or whatever. Change your input. I decided, I was driving back and forth this weekend. I was doing a lot of driving this past weekend. And sometimes when I'm driving, I like listening to music, but I was also having a little bit of like overwhelm. So I'm like, you know what? I just want to listen to something different. So I put on a book, I listened to an audiobook, and it was so amazing how that book, because you were telling me you listened to a book all of last weekend too. And what's crazy is that book took me to another place. Mm-hmm. It took me to this like inspired place where I was thinking about higher ideas. It like got me out of, like my day-to-day grind, my day-to-day like worries or whatever that you might call them. And I mean, sometimes that might mean putting on music. Sometimes that might mean getting outside if you're, doing something where you're indoors all the time, like changing your environment, changing your input so that change really does create a change for you internally.
Yeah. And these things aren't necessarily easy in the moment to like, I think about when I'm scrolling sometimes, like it's clearly probably some sort of distraction from what I need to do or what I'm feeling. Maybe it's not even that deep and I just want to scroll, but usually there's something there that feels hard to do that I'm kind of not wanting to do and I'm scrolling instead. Like it's not the easy choice to, change what you're doing right then.
Yeah.
But the other side of it, after you make that change quick, like you do feel so much better.
Yes.
And
your environment is so important. Like the environment that you put yourself in, whether you're putting yourself in that physical environment of, maybe you need a change of physical scenery for a while. I know sometimes even working from home, I'm like, I just need to go work in a different room for a while.
And I think being aware, it's like, okay, do I want to feel overwhelmed or anxious? I feel that way right now.
Yeah.
I have the choice. And it's not 100% guaranteed to make me feel better immediately, but I know that doing this other thing or listening to this other thing or changing the input is going to start me in the right direction or maybe make me feel better altogether.
Yes, I have a great example of this. There is a room, I guess you could say at my house, that when I go sit in that place, I instantly feel calmer, more grounded.
The porch.
The porch.
I knew it.
Don't you feel that way?
Yeah,
Like,
I do.
I crave it. What did I say to you as soon as we finished dinner last night?
Let's go sit on the porch.
Let's go have a
Let's
porch
just go
sit.
have a porch sit. Yeah. Some of our most fun discussions, great talks, just fun times are on that porch.
Are on that porch. And there is something about it that feels different than being like, if I'm sitting in the kitchen, which I love my kitchen so much, but I'm thinking, well, I should finish those dishes. I should lay something out for tomorrow. I should, or whatever. There's nothing to do on the porch.
Yep. Just sit.
Just to sit and visit and connect to nature. And
I wish
look
I
at
had
the
a
lake
screened-in porch because I have a porch on my apartment, but the chairs get so, like, if it rains or if there's anything on it, so I never end up actually going out there. Yeah. But I have made intentional spots in my apartment that feel the
similar.
Same way.
Yeah.
And it is such a safe place to go.
Yeah.
And usually mine is actually, funnily enough, my bed because I've just made it like that. It feels like my safe place.
Yep.
And so instantly when I am in that place.
I totally agree. Like, I have a little back massager that sits in my bed. And so at night, after I take a hot bath, it's like 30 minutes till bedtime. I'll sit in there and kind of do some reading or watch some podcasts or whatever.
And I think it's become that because, like you said in the kitchen, like, if you see a dish or if you, like, you do feel like you have to do that. And I don't really allow myself to sit in my bed unless, like, things are picked up or whatever. And so it really does feel like
a different
once I
environment.
sit in there, it's done, like, things are done or, my stuff is done. But yeah, I totally agree with that. And a lot of times if I'm feeling anxious, if I go sit in there by myself for an hour, I feel so much better.
Yes. So I love that one too. And last tool that I think can really help is to take one small action. Now, I have an example for this. So yesterday, you guys were coming so that we could do our filming. And I had a coaching call, a teaching call. I had gotten up early to do some email work before that. I had dinner that I wanted to get the sourdough in process, the roast in process. And I got to the point at one moment where I felt kind of overwhelmed. Like, it's almost like you feel frozen. Like, there's so many things I need to do right now. I don't know what to do. And I just made myself do one thing at a time. I'm like, okay, let's just get the roast in. Then we'll figure out whatever else after that. And so, the crazy thing is that when I did things like one step at a time, I did have plenty of time to get it all done. But my brain wanted to go, oh, you need to check over your notes again. And my brain gave me like 10 things I needed to do. And for a minute, I feel kind of frozen, like I don't know what to do. And then I was like, no, first I'm going to get the roast in. And as soon as I got the roast in the oven, which didn't take literally 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're like, oh, wait.
Then I'm like, okay,
I feel better
brain.
about that, and now I can,
yes. And then it was totally fine. But I'm saying that even with something dumb like that, your brain likes to offer you overwhelm.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I have had to learn my brain because I think everyone's different too. Like, for me, I know that if certain things aren't done, it's going to be there in my brain through everything else.
So you might as well do it.
So I might as well do that because when stuff is just piled in there, that is what causes overwhelm. When there's a bunch of things that are unfinished or that feel like you can't let them go. It's going to cause overwhelm or anxiety. And I know certain things that don't bother me, that don't make me feel like that. And I know the certain things that will hold that. And like my room being clean, my house being clean, those are always two things that if those things aren't at least where they feel like it's good for me, they're going to hang over my head. So then when other things come and give me that feeling, it's even worse.
Right.
So at least if my room is whatever it is for you, I think it's important to know yourself and set yourself up to be able to like have that clear head.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was just thinking about this. The other thing lately in the last couple of days that my brain keeps offering me is you have so many emails to write. because I'm getting ready to launch our next session of our master coach training. I'm like, oh, you have so many emails to write. So I sat down yesterday morning and this morning and literally each day gave myself an hour and a half. And I was like, that is crazy town that I got most of the emails written that my brain was so overwhelmed with. This is going to take forever. You've got all these emails to write. And in 2 sessions, when you came up this morning, I said, oh my gosh, I feel so good. I got those emails done. Oh my, I was so proud. But, it's just one of those things that you got to stay on top of yourself, because otherwise it's really easy to let yourself slip into that. It could be kind of indulgent, like a little bit of an indulgent emotion, like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. I actually try to never talk like that.
Yep.
Even if I feel that internally, I'll journal it out and write it down and work through it. But really what I want to think about myself is that I'm such a high capacity person that all the things that I want to do, I have plenty of time to do them. And those thoughts have served me so well.
Yeah. And I think the really cool thing about this list of 4 steps is putting these into your head. They don't have to go in a specific order. Like if you feel like you're not ready to take an action, then maybe try moving.
Good point.
If you feel like you can't even move, maybe try a dump.
Yeah.
If you feel like you can't do a dump, maybe try inputting something else. Like I think it doesn't have to go in a specific.
No. Whatever's easier for you in the moment.
But it's nice to know where to go. It gives your brain something to be like, oh wait, I have something I can do.
Yeah. But I do think that a true antidote to anxiety is action. You take action, you get, because the anxiety is kind of you spinning in your head.
Yep.
You take that into your body and take some action on that thing. Oh my gosh, you feel so much less overwhelmed and anxious.
And I think that's the key. Like if you have a long to-do list, or if it has anything to do with that, you don't even necessarily have to do anything towards your to-do list to make yourself feel good enough to start tackling it.
Yes.
Like these things might not be actually making you, farther along in what you have to do.
Yep.
But they get you to the point where you can then start doing the things
that you want to do. Yeah. The other thing is that I have a few journal prompts that I think might help if you find yourself in this situation. I love good journal prompts, y'all. I love a good journal prompt.
Yeah, me too.
I love
it's
things
so much
that help
easier
me
to
think.
have a prompt.
It's easier to have a prompt. Yeah. So here, the first one, what am I believing right now about this thing that might not be true? And that for me,
that could be a great dump question.
Yes.
If you don't know how to dump,
yeah,
you don't know where to start, I think that would be a great place.
Yes. What am I believing right now that might not be true? I like this one too. What's one thing I can do today that would help me feel even 2% more at peace? What's one thing I can do right now?
Yeah, I like
that. Action is such a powerful antidote to anxiety. Another one is, what emotion am I feeling right now, and what might it be trying to tell me? So does the overwhelm have any wisdom to offer? What is the overwhelm? Most of the time, honestly, for me, the overwhelm is kind of a made up story. Occasionally in the past, because I have trimmed down my schedule enough now and said no enough, but maybe the overwhelm is, maybe the thing it's trying to tell you is you've put too much on your plate this time.
It could be that.
That used to be very common for me. I would be like, oh, why did I overextend myself? Why did I say yes to all these things? Most of the time now, the overwhelm that my brain offers me is just basically made up. Yeah. It's not even really true.
Yeah. And so then when you take time to sit and analyze that, you realize,
yes.
Oh, wait. I think too, I just had this thought because we talk about a lot, and I feel like I've been talking about a lot in a different way, is we've noticed that with Tom, for example, with his reaction times and how much better when he has a moment, like he still has a lot of moments, but
he recovers fast.
He recovers a lot faster.
Yep.
And I think that is what learning tools like this is really about, because it's not necessarily
that you're not going to have it.
You're not going to have it.
Yeah.
But when you give yourself tools,
faster. Yeah.
you recover faster.
Yes.
And that should be the goal, is like not feel anxious, because you are going to feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
but it's to give yourself the tools so that you can recover faster and keep going.
Yeah.
And also learn from what the anxiety was
Yes.
telling you.
And I love this last one. What do I know to be true about who I am, even in the midst of this? And so I spoke to that a little bit. Like I tell myself, no, I'm a very high capacity person and this is not a problem. Like, you know, this is what I want to do and this is what I'm going to do. So I remind myself who I am, even in the midst of this busy season, even in the midst of this travel, even in the midst of whatever, you know, is causing the stress or overwhelm.
Yeah.
Remind yourself who you are, even in the midst of that. So I love that one too.
I love that.
So, well, that was a fun,
That was a really fun one.
exploration. We would love for you to come over to the House of Joy Instagram and tell us any tools you have. What are things that you try when you are feeling a little overwhelmed or feeling anxious? We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we all we all need the help. You know, it's really good to have these tools, and then I still have moments sometimes where I'm like, you know, need the reminder that this will not last forever.
That's right.
And yeah, I'm just so glad that we are able to have a different way out of it and not just sit in anxious thoughts. And everyone, you know, if you feel like you're anxious a lot, just know that when you practice, the more you practice, you know, trying to not sit in it.
Yes.
You know, you can get better and you can feel better faster.
So good. So that brings us to our last section of the podcast where we're going to talk about a few things we love, and I'm going to start.
Okay, go ahead.
Number one, I mentioned this on a podcast a month or so ago, but I have a follow-up.
Okay.
There's a new natural perfume out called Wild Notes. I'm going to put the link for you below. I am obsessed. Now, I got the original like trial set where it lets you try the fragrances. Smoky Ember was created just
that
for
one's
me
super good
in mind. It is insane.
They're really actually impressive. You have a bottle.
I have
right
it
here.
sitting right here.
I'm gonna sniff it. This one is Smoky Ember.
Sniff it again, Emily.
I'll also say that like, so I have the samples.
Oh, it's so good, you guys.
It does. I mean, it's actually very impressive to me because
I want everything to smell like that.
I did not have the most high expectations, to
I know.
be honest.
I didn't either.
Because, like,
natural perfume, in quotes, probably not going to be great. It's
you
great.
know, like there's things that I'm super natural on. Perfume,
not
deodorant.
one of them.
I've not crossed that line yet.
Yeah.
These actually smell so good. It's specifically this one. I know there's another one I liked too. And from the bottle, for some reason, maybe it's like mind.
Yeah, you like
but
it better.
Like smells even better.
Even better.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that like I feel like I just want to keep smelling it and smelling it and smelling it. And it's one of those that a few hours later I can smell my wrist and I still smell it.
It's so wild to me that this is all natural. Like I'm not kidding y'all. This does smell like
to me it smells like a natural version of Chanel. Like it smells like Chanel, except you don't get a headache from it, and it's like even better.
Like how did?
Because I used to use for years Chanel Noir, and now if I smell that, I still do like the smell of it. But if I still have a bottle of it. But if I walk through a department store and smell it, you know, in a store, I'll be like, oh, it smells too fake. Mm-hmm. I am telling you, I am so impressed with this. That
oh my gosh, it smells literally.
I have not
good.
hosted a class at my house in a long time. I want to have a class and invite people over to smell these perfumes. They're that good.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not even a joke. Like no, it's actually so insane.
Good. And you can get the other thing that I have done is that you can look on their website at what's in you can't see the proportions, but you can look at what's in it. So I've been making like a dropper bottle full of the same scent that has like the same ingredients, and I use it in my diffusers. And when I walk into my house, I'm like, there it is again. Like it smells enough like the perfume that like I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm impressed. We're obsessed and we're oppressed.
We're impressed. We're obsessed. We love it. It's amazing.
Yes. I had something on my mind and I have seemed to forgot.
I have a second. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead with yours.
No, it's left me again. Go ahead.
Okay. Second thing is that Young Living has a product called Fruit and Veggie Soak. This sounds so dumb and so random.
Oh, you are a stan for this.
I am obsessed.
I will say your claims are crazy.
My claims are crazy, but let me make my claims, and then Emmy, you
They're
can
crazy.
say, you can tell me if I'm crazy, if my claims here are crazy. But I use this probably 3 or 4 times a week to make salads and, to wash our fruits and veggies. I notice it especially with salad. I will put my romaine leaves in the sink. I will put my Thieves fruit and veggie soak in there. I will leave it in there for a few minutes. I will wash them off. I will dry them off. You have never tasted a crunchier, more delicious lettuce.
I know. So let me give a little backstory for this, because she made us salad the other night, and I was like, this salad is delicious. Literally, this is the only thing on the salad. Pepper and ranch.
Homemade ranch. And lettuce.
Like, and it's like so good. I was eating it from the actual big salad bowl. I'm not even
She did. After she finished her dinner, she went and ate the rest of it from the salad bowl that we were serving it from.
But I literally was like scooping the ranch from the bowl into my mouth. Okay. And I'm like, what?
Well, she's like, what is that makes this salad so
It's
good?
literally lettuce. And Mom was like, it's the fruit and veggie wash. And I was like, okay, well, so that makes no sense. That the fruit and veggie wash is making the lettuce crispier?
Yes.
Well, I don't care what it is, but that must be right, because it was like delectable.
It's so good. It was so good.
Yeah.
So
no,
if you
so
haven't, we'll put my Young Living link, because listen, some of y'all are sleepers. You haven't ordered my Ningxia Red yet that I've been bragging on for literally 10 years. You haven't ordered my hormone oils, which I've been bragging on for 10 years. You haven't gotten the Ari diffuser, but I'm telling you, the Thieves fruit and veggie soak, it's a true winner in my book.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
You put me on these spots. Like, I need to. Well, I will say. I know it is a part of every podcast, and I never come prepared. One thing I have been loving lately is ordering from ASOS. Accessories.
I've never ordered there.
Accessories. Let me tell you, they're in the UK.
Okay.
They will get you what you ordered within like 2 days.
How?
Don't know.
Don't know. Don't need to know.
And it's free express shipping every time for me. So that I love, because I've been ordering accessories because I've got a bunch of trips coming up, bachelorette trips. We're going to the beach. I'm going on another bachelorette trip.
Yep.
And I've just needed little accessories, and they're pretty good price. They have stuff on there that's expensive, but accessories I have found are actually like really reasonable.
Okay.
So I've been loving ASOS.
I have one more.
Okay. Yeah, you just take it away.
Let me finish with this, and then whatever else you have. But I don't want to forget.
Okay.
Have I made the ribcage jeans one of my top 3?
You know what? I don't think so.
Okay, everyone, listen in. Favorite jeans that I think I've bought in the last 5 years. These Levi's ribcage jeans.
Is that what you're wearing right now?
This is what I'm wearing right now.
Okay.
I love them. Now, if you're watching on the pod, on the video pod on YouTube, I'm also wearing my favorite red Walmart top that was probably $15.
People are going to think we're sponsored by Walmart.
We're not sponsored by Walmart. Walmart, if you would love to sponsor us, great.
Please.
Please.
We've been loving your
But
stuff.
I have worn these ribcage jeans. I got them 3 weeks ago. I bet I've worn them 12 times.
Ooh, I thought of a favorite thing.
Oh, tell me.
My favorite thing is coming home and using your red light therapy face mask.
Oh, my therapy mask. Have we talked about my red light therapy mask?
But that's truly one of my favorite things. I'm so glad I didn't have to buy it, and that you bought it, and I can just come home every couple weeks and use it. I didn't even use it this time. What am I doing?
Let me tell everyone on the podcast a secret. Stevie was so intrigued. He used it once. He's like, does that thing work? And I'm like, oh, yeah, you got to try it.
It does
Red light
work. I
therapy.
actually do think it does something. I don't
so
know what.
good.
I don't know how.
You're making me crave it right now. As soon as this pod is over,
I
I might
know.
need to
We're
go
gonna
do
have to
some
go
red
get
light
it.
therapy.
But my favorite thing about it is that I can just come here
And use it.
And use it.
I love that for you, Emily.
Yeah, I love that for me too.
All right, everyone. Well, we are so happy that you're a part of House of Joy. We love you so much.
Yes,
we hope you
we
have
love
a great
you.
rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.